What's up, world? What's up, Zion? It's Prince Easy coming at you again. As usual, I do have a couple slides with me that I want to share with you. Um, and of course, in a sense, we'll be picking up as usual from where we left off. I mean, timeline wise, yes, right? Because at the end of every video, I erase every slide and start capturing new slides, so to speak, right? So yeah, so let's pick up with the marathon, right? Okay. Viewer disclaimer. Not a disclaimer rather, but what do they call it? Fair Use Act. This is where I'm supposed to invoke it. Right? So fair use for criticism and educational purposes only, right?
Now there are no cables from here to here or here to here. You might ask, why is that important? Here's why. The reason you will never see these cables connected is because look how far the distance is from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, and the vast distance from 1 to 3. But Ryan, what about these cables here? Oh yeah, you mean the short distance right here? But you might ask yourself, Ryan, why is that important? Over 99% of the world's internet traffic, including international phone calls and data transfers, rely on cables. Not satellites, cables. Y'all, pull up any map of sea cables and you will see that none of these touch. Because we live on a flat, geocentric plane, just like the Word of God says. In Revelations 29, and they, talking about the angels, went up on the breadth of the earth. What is that? That is Strong's G4114. Breadth meaning plateaus, has a root word, breadth, suggesting great extent. Let's look up this root word plateaus. G4116. G4116 says plateaus, spread out flat. Spread out flat. The Bible is true and you have been deceived. Notice how...
Let's move on.
Okay, I can't help it. This is just too funny. Let's zoom in here.
Another
This
video,
is the official
fair use disclaimer again.
NASA Instagram, and this is official, guy. It's not a parody. Let's let's listen to what he says here. Hold on a second.
On Crew 12.
Let's go.
This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome.
Wait a minute. What did he say again?
Take a brief moment to go. This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome. Like,
This is the official. Hey, this is the official.
For and look forward to is we are going to the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome. Like, we should as
It is awesome. Wait a minute. Did he say it was the first?
look forward to. This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is.
And also, on other news, China apparently has sand from the dark side of the moon. Okay, right? Okay, people are people are free to say whatever they want, but at the end of the day, somebody's gonna have to provide backup or something, right? So this is what I saw on the interwebs, right? This is obviously a AI generated image of a protest. I don't know that these individuals plan to, initiate or anything like that, right? So let's read. Of course, I don't know what is behind the protest, right? It is not obvious, what the intentions are. But again, do people write intentions in their banners and whatnot? Yeah, they do. So the big banner there says acha urafi wa risasi, ukipigwa risasi sogea pembeni, wengine tupigwe. First, as a Tanzanian, that is most likely not prepared by a Tanzanian. But a rough translation would be, can't even find the right words. So basically what he's implying is stop being greedy. After you have been shot, step aside so others can be shot, right? So basically they're saying just don't take multiple bullets on this protest, right? You just have to take one and you go down, and the other one takes another, Basically that's what this banner here is saying. And then of course the usual human right banners, haki sawa kwa wote, meaning equality to all. And then tumechoka na ufisadi, basically we are tired of corruption. And this one here is intriguing. It says elimu ni msingi wa, I don't know what word is that, right? But basically beginning with education is the foundation. And here we have freedom and whatnot. This is what we have now, right? This is what we are doing now. Right? This is what we are doing now.
I'm a little frustrated.
I just found this on the interwebs, and again I had to share it. Fair use disclaimer, of course. Let's get to it.
Because if you turn on the TV, all I'm seeing is a bunch of bimbos in space.
The moon! You guys, I have to tell you, look at the moon.
That's right. They're sending Lauren Sanchez and Oprah Winfrey's, I don't even know what, Oprah Winfrey's lesbian lover, I guess, to space. And I just think that is absolutely ridiculous. It's a waste of resources. Me flying, I'm in the aerospace industry, and I don't want to try to land my plane and worry about, running into some woman with the, silicone breasts or something like that. I mean, listen, are they sending them up to space to try to test the effects of Ozempic on what it does to you in a zero gravity environment? I don't know, but I know that it looks fake. And I'm not saying the Earth is flat, but I'll tell you this much, that originally we went to the moon. It was done by a bunch of Nazis, a guy by the name of Werner von Braun. It was brought over during a thing called Operation Paperclip. So I don't want to go to space with a bunch of bimbos and Nazis when we got a bunch of problems here in America, especially in Grapevine, that we need solved.
Let's just say a lot was said by one man, okay? Oh my goodness, Okay. Just for information, right? This is the purpose, right? We are trying to inform each other, aren't we? Right? Of what could possibly become of us. So, this situation happened, right? I don't know, how does the World Bank have a court? That does not even make sense. I mean, how is this even allowed? How did this even happen? You know what? Politicians be selling people like wholesale and stuff, because they were not forced to get into this contract, if you want to call it like that. They didn't. Right? And the people of France had to pay their dues. They have to pay their dues. Their company, they have been using electricity that was basically stolen, and they had to pay, and they refused to pay. And still, these people had the nerve to go ahead and block the sale of uranium from a specific mine. Who are you to do that? Tangent. On Friday, Orano claimed that a tribunal established under the auspices of International Center of Settlement of Investment Dispute has arbitrated in his favor, right? The accused, because this is what it is, the accused, regardless of who went to court first, but the thief got the favor. According to the company, the court instructed the state of Niger not to sell, assign, nor facilitate the transfer of third parties of uranium produce by the SOMIA held in violation of Orano's right. Right? So what is the point of the judgment first anyway? Why are you here? So if the court, if you have already decided that Orano has rights, and these rights are being violated by Niger, then last I heard this case was ongoing. And sorry to tell you this, but we don't have time. Okay? The needs of the people do not wait for courts and ruling. What is there to rule? The uranium was stolen, and then payments were not made. If they were made, then they should provide receipts. Maybe the leadership ate the money, but that's not the case. So what is their claim exactly? That's what I want to figure out. Because the mine was confiscated because they couldn't make the payment. And in fact, there was a loss of trust. There is no trust between the government and the mining company. But again, this is just a screwed up system that we have to deal with, right? Typical white military male. Typical, right? The Western militaries have done a good job of brainwashing their military people to an amazing degree. Like, you might literally ask a Westerner in the army with a straight face and ask them, tell me one war that your country has fought that has been justified, even one. But still, the people who are half awake, they'll tell you, no, all of them were unjustified, and we shouldn't have done these things. But yet, they'll be proud. So I am perplexed. What exactly are you proud of? This is what I'm trying to figure out. The legacy, the uniform, or what? Like, I'm really perplexed. Okay, back to the Niger has decided to take total control of the SOMIA company to allow for a healthier and more suitable management of its resources. The junta declared in an official statement that a sign a dramatic shift in the country's resource management philosophy. Well, was it a new change of philosophy? No, it wasn't. It was just business, and the company was doing bad business. Okay? And when it comes to the impact of what they have done whilst mining said uranium, they have done immense damage. Okay, and in my opinion, Niger should book them on that. They should pay compensation for the environmental damage and the sickness that has developed. Entire cities have been almost being abandoned. And these same people have the nerve to come out here and, I don't know, put up a phony Western style theatrical case, right? Well, from last I heard, people are abandoning Hollywood. It's basically a ghost town at this point. Who was talking about it? Mel Gibson. 410. This is what you are proud of, right? This is what you are proud of as a service member. Enlargement is an important priority of the President of European Council, said one of its officials. He sees it as the most important geopolitical investment that the EU can make. I'm just stating what they're saying, right? That's why we believe it's important to continue discussing avenues to ensure Ukraine's reform effort to be translated into tangible steps, right? So they are taking responsibility, right? That part of their enlargement, Ukraine is part of their enlargement. And what would be the consequences? I don't know, right? Hungary is giving real life advice out here, but again, these are the things that we're going to bring up at the end of the road, right? That you were told, but now, was it painful? Of course it was. Now Ukraine would need to give up a fifth of its territory, and I'm not saying exactly what Ukraine should do. You know, you should you should listen to what Zelensky said. He's such a child, right? It is only that our experience shows that peace can sometimes be painful. The question is, what matters more, preserving the country's viability or clinging to a few thousand square kilometers, he said, right? The deputy foreign minister added that the risk of war escalating and spreading increases with each passing day. Peace is needed at any cost, Maya concluded. Now the other side says Ukraine Foreign Ministry condemns international media outlet for joining Russia propaganda tour in temporarily occupied territories, right? Now they're basically blaming the Russians for not, I think most people do not really know. I had to search up myself. I had to see what it was like, before those regions chose to join the Russian Federation. It was a highly emotionally charged situation, right? For reference, you can look up the speech of Putin, which he gave when it came to Crimea, right? I'm not saying that the entirety of the people of Crimea wanted to join Russia, but they were outvoted. Okay? They were outvoted. And they were glad. And the same goes to all of those other regions, right? They were attacked by the Ukrainians. So the Ukrainians at this point, they have no moral foundation whatsoever for their war. All they have done is crime after crime after crime after crime. And I don't know, perplexed to see some woke individuals who are ill-informed, right? Ill-informed. Surely, right? They're ill-informed about what is happening or what is unfolding in Russia and Ukraine over there, but they do agree that it has the potential to impact their lives. I'm perplexed. Like, these things you should know, right? But again, the Western propaganda machine is louder. That's just the facts and the reality of the on the ground, so they say. Right? The Russians never go to tell their part of the story. So we have people in the West, military experience, right, with military experience and military fighting age, basically going into war without even knowing what they're fighting for. People are dozing off, you know, right? People are dozing off, right? Because how is it then they can be, I don't know, thrown into a war every now and then, and they seem like they don't even realize it, you know, that it was all based on a foundation of lies, right? So you're telling me all of those wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, right, in the Vietnam, all of those were wrong, and the Ukrainian war is right? That's why the Westerners are you serious right now? Right? The people who have woken up, right? Again, I put a comment in my description once, and I think I did put it in words also, as in verbal, right? Well, this case is quite interesting, and these things are gonna be common. They're gonna be common, right? Because the reality is this, right? If a dropout from a university can teach himself to hack, which is 100% possible. Literally, schools have been irrelevant last Tuesday. Okay? Last Tuesday. All people need right now is just access to the international library, the internet, and they can learn anything. The only thing they need to learn is the language which the internet speaks, right? And it's mostly English, right? Because we do not have access to resources from China, for instance, right? Or Russia, for that matter, right? They speak their own language over there. They have their own small world out there, right? And over here, we're just bathing in Western propaganda, right? And everything that tries to break free from the Eastern style of communication, like TikTok, yeah, they get executive orders and stuff. Right? But this here is a potential. It's almost a wasted potential. Again, information transmission, storage. These expositions, they tell a lot, and trust me, a lot has been hidden. 1775. Look at that. Well, what I think about this, we shall find out. Well, what is Mr. Beast? Well, Mr. Beast, I think, is very, or rather running the same operation that this character called David Dobrik was running. And it's gonna end the same way. Right? Oh, it's the same operation that that streamer that was streaming the suicide forest in Japan. You remember that? Well, I believe that these people are part of a psychological operation, right? Just like the movie, right? I don't know what it's called, right? With the numbers and it's an Asian movie, the numbers and the money and the killing. Squid Game, yeah. I can't watch such garbage. I can't, and I'm quite perplexed to people find that to be entertaining for some reason. Like, but again, it resonates with people because it is a thing that people ponder. And what is it, right? What connects David Dobrik, this guy, Mr. Beast, and the Squid Game? It's the same undertone. What are people willing to do for money, right? They are here to push the boundaries, right? David Dobrik was only about pushing the personal boundaries, right? Pushing the personal boundaries, and that eventually broke up his group and broke him, right? He was dressing men in women clothing and tricking guys into making out with them and running around naked, and basically it was just how much do you want for me to do? And these people always seem to have like an insane amount of money to burn, right? I do not care, right? Mr. Beast is not that big of a deal, number one, right? His whole persona, his whole situation has been exaggerated a lot. Okay, I've been on YouTube for a long time and I know the telltale signs. Okay, and this influence is, I don't know, for lack of better words, unnatural, right? His growth, what he's doing is unnatural, right? And he's here as a form of social experimentation, right? And this one here is the last controversy, right? And this is not even the first controversy. This is just another controversy along a line of many, basically, right? And basically, he showed how the Western society is corroded and how easily they can be bought, you know? Right? I don't know, maybe to help break the illusion that maybe they are special in some way, you know, maybe. Right? But you should watch the videos of this guy, you know? People do anything if you put money in front of them, you know? Just like the carrot, the stick, and the donkey, right? You tie it, they'll chase it forever, right? They don't even figure out, you know, maybe it's not a good idea, you know? You can't even make these people happy, you know? This whole thing is ridiculous, you know? In some countries, she is naked. By African standards, she is naked. She is naked. No matter how you twist and turn it, she is naked, at least the lower part of her body, right? And it's interesting to see these ladies trying to stretch their, as if some fabric is gonna, I don't know, magically appear and extend their, you know? It's embarrassing and so uncomfortable, you know, like really. But the Iranians edited it so as it could fit their audience, their modest audience. But nah, you can't win with the West. You cannot win. They had to come out and ridicule it. You should look at the phrasing on the... Here's the thing. Well, I don't think I have anything to say about this. I think I already said it, right? I said that the arrogance of these people all lies on the security forces. That is where all of their arrogance lies. And what they are afraid of is to face the masses. Okay? So I tell you, capture these people, put them in jail. Let them answer for their crimes. If not so, then all of you are gonna bear the responsibility of what happens after that. okay? You and your leaders. Because now you're in cahoots, because none of you were wiser enough to advise the contrary. You just went along, you see? Right? You just went along. So remember that. Okay, this guy won't be so cocky, they won't be so obnoxious talking to Iran like that, talking to Russia like that, talking to anybody like that without your backing. If you disarm them and you tell them, okay, speak and protect your aya we kama kawa dua, right? And basically protect, or rather justify your decisions over the years, they will not be able. So they hide behind you, and everything has been playing out, right? Since these things have been unfolding since the supposed assassination attempts, right? Nobody's talking about those anymore, right? And nobody's even questioning who actually did it, right? But again, I know, in my opinion, that was all a psyop. Why? So as he can garner security towards himself. Why? Again, like I said, he's gonna do some stupid stuff. And he knows that when he does this stupid stuff, the people will rebel. And what does a person of such who thinks like that would do first? They would first get security for themselves and then do the stupid stuff. So as, you know, it's wiser like that. You feel me? So, right? It's a whole campaign over here about Iran, right? Bad cop, good cop every time. We're gonna come back to this, right? So we covered the Finnish official who was pixelated in Iranian media, and they were mad about that. Now the Abraham Accord, right? Let me tell you about this Abraham Accord. This Abraham Accord will lead you to a lot of problems. This is just my view. You can do whatever you want, okay? But you hugging a lie in the hopes that it would disappear is mind-boggling to me. What do you mean Abraham's Accord, you know? Do you know what that even means? It's a covenant, and when you enter this covenant, whatever begets them will beget you. Do you understand? So do not ask yourself, why is Trump walking around here and the media which works for him talks about Trump made this country bow down with the Tariff War. Remember that? And whatever is happening right now, right? The bully stance that has been taken, right? Because something is gonna hit, and when that thing hits, it's gonna have rippling effects to everybody that went into the contract. Okay? Again, just to inform you, right? That robo-taxi thingy, yeah, Senegalese made that. Quite an important question, right? Well, don't know about factions. Again, dirty dogs. Why is there no coverage? Beats me. Right? Of course, the same perpetrators. And now it's coming out that apparently the decisions to go back to war were given to Trump by the UK king. Yeah. And of course, people always know this is not a new book right here. This has been, like, how many failed negotiations have been there? Like, literally, there's no new trick at this point. Like, seriously. Right? And if people are good students of history, then I don't think if I need to say anything. Yeah. This is some crazy work. Even this, some crazy work. This is how you make arrests on people. But again, he had to be reminded that he's still a nigger, even though he's the world champion of boxing right now. But still, he is a nigger. And you can get shot out here for just being a nigger champion. Okay? Right? The man's here received the 2 keys of the city. Still had a gun pointed to his face. It's not about recognition. No. Like, it doesn't matter how shallow you are, right? The giving of a key is a function that the police is involved in. So you're telling me that he wasn't... Babylon. Right? Here they go. Flip-flopping. Right? Testing the heat, testing the temperature. Seeing, will you bow down? Or, I don't know. What is the opposite of that? I can conquer men, Attila said. But the lion, Leo, knows how to conquer me. Well, this is a short story about the history of Rome, right? The 7 hills, it's all in there, man. The whole 9, right? I shall link it in the description. This is the rhetoric of the same people. This is their rhetoric. And this guy here, like colored people got strays. Just everybody who wasn't white just got strays. But whose memorial is it? Charlie. And Charlie was done in by who, apparently? Again, it is always the boogeyman. They never look inside their own, in the midst of their own selves. Maybe we should stop that. So you stop telling the world that our government was bought by Israel. Maybe we should stop saying that, and I don't know, maybe try to combat this situation by actually informing each other of ways that we could fight back. But again, God's will be done, right? Technologia, they say, right? Okay, you proceed, but I think I've already said my piece. Wow, this is really gonna bring back confidence in your I don't know, healthcare institution, and its destroyed relationship with the people. This is completely gonna put everything on the right path. Okay, but just don't forget to sign the thing, so as Pfizer does not take responsibility later on for whatever happens to the patients that were test subjects. Okay, just don't forget that contract is important, right? Do not let them trick you, Trump. Okay, you need that. What do you mean forces? These people are playing games, and people died. Just storage information. Well, maybe a lieutenant colonel is better, I don't know, better informed at the U.S. politics, right? Liti Kidanka, right? The woman who fought the Germans using bees in 1903, Singida, right? These are our stories. Well, good luck. Yeah. The nerve of these people, right? Michael Cloud, warn of danger of weather modification. Like your last name is Cloud. So what was this? Like, I don't know, psyop type information warfare or something, right? That Michael should pay attention or something. No, I do not care about what you do. I know that you're playing God, right? I know that you're hiding some things. So yeah, you know what is gonna cause a disastrous forecast. Why? Because you're playing God. But you won't stop playing God, won't you? Just gonna keep making storms all over the place, right? And sooner or later, it's gonna become obvious that you are weaponizing the weather, because all of your enemies are gonna be, I don't know, coincidentally hit, so to speak, right, by strange weather situations. And you should also hear about Trump's remarks on rebuilding LA, right? So apparently the leader of LA over there said we are going to build affordable housing on all of those areas and all of these things. And Trump said, you know what, it's unfair. It's completely unfair. Like he was offended because he had other plans for that. When were these plans made? I don't know, but he said it on TV. There was a coach and he was there with a couple of, I don't know, presenters, maybe 4 of them. Yeah, there was a lady over there, and she was also naked. But it was a whole situation. Okay, it was a whole situation. And this here is just, a stab, but a stab that people will not catch. Why? Because it's not directed at you, right? So they're telling you what they're gonna do to you. So go figure. But I'll say I got the message. But anyway, let me not babble on for too long. Right? Did I miss anything? Let me see. Okay, I've not I've not forgotten anything. So anyway, we'll update each other when we convene here again. So yeah, it's been easy. I'ma sign out. Love y'all. Bye.